This is my experience climbing an active volcano in Bali called Mount Batur, which is famous for its sunrise hike. I decided to do it with my friend Tom, but our experience was slightly different to everybody else's. So get ready for the story and also some key details if you're thinking of doing it yourself. It is the night before the sunrise hike in Bali up Mount Batur. Am I ready? No, of course I'm not. So we're now going to have to sort that out. The time is also now, oh dear, 8:30. We're getting picked up at 2 a.m. So sleep until 1:30, 5 hours if I go to bed right now. One key thing to note with Southeast Asia, everything is built on trust for some reason. Like, I paid for these tickets online, put my number in, and half an hour ago I got a message from somebody completely random on WhatsApp. Hello, good evening, I'm your driver for tomorrow, pick you up at 2 a.m. Alright, that's that then. Right, it's now about to hit 2 o'clock. I'm gonna have to go and wait by the front. Let's go, baby. We're now in a little transfer. Not gonna shine the light in the driver, but we're now going over. Got about an hour to go. This is the legroom situation. I'm also joined with Tom.
Hi guys, you alright?
The taxi picked us up at 2 a.m. sharp, and the journey to the start point took an hour and a half. This was a good opportunity to have a toilet break and meet our guide who was taking us up the volcano. We've arrived at the base. Everybody's now turning up. Just been given a head torch without a strap, which is very convenient. Tom's got his Red Bull. Getting juiced up. I've just had my vitamin juice. Now waiting for the final few people to turn up, and we're going to set off. We then got put into a group and there were 4 of us. Myself, Tom and a couple which were all being led by our guide. And with no time to spare, at 3:30 a.m. the climb up Mount Batur had begun. Obviously at this point it's pitch black, but the clarity does get better as we go. The initial section of the volcano through the forest was relatively flat, and considering the lack of sleep we started pretty strong. Hopes were high and sweat was already dripping, so the jumpers were straight off. After another 20 minutes of hiking we bumped into some Indonesian locals near this hut, and our guide then suggested that we split up. This was because me and Tom were trekking faster and stronger than the couple in our group. 2 young bucks, hey, trying to get to the top. These guys clearly all knew each other, and our guide, Warrior, I think I pronounced that right and heard it from what he said earlier, he decided to take the couple and go at a slower pace behind while we go with one of the other gents in front. Sounds good to me. So with a quick change of teams, we set off once more. Got chatting, and it turns out this guy has done this exact hike over 6,000 times, which is every day for the past 16 years, and he then offered to film us. So I gave him my phone. But pay attention to this clip.
We've just switched. We've switched guides halfway up. We're split into me and Tom. We're going a bit further ahead. This guy's...
So Tom was halfway through speaking, but this guy decided to stop recording because he was about to break some news to us. Turns out, he wasn't a guide. He was a drink seller. I'm sorry, what? Immediately, alarm bells are ringing. Trust issues are at an all-time high. We're now stuck on the side of this volcano at 4 a.m. in the morning in the pitch black with a random Donny. So what do we do next? We just went along with it. To be honest, it was our only option. And soon enough, as we continued, it became very obvious that this guy was just here to sell us drinks. He asked at least 10 to 12 times, and we were pretty much forced into saying yes. We were like, okay mate, at the top, we'll buy one at the top. The volcano got a lot steeper in the second half, and we had to take multiple breaks. And this was partly because of Tom, because he started this hike on 1 HP. For some context, he was badly ill a couple of days before, so I double checked with him, but he still decided to soldier on, so fair play. However, once this guy found that out, he started to be really helpful, to the point where he was overdoing it, like taking his bag, holding his hand. It was too much. I couldn't help but laugh at this point. He was clearly just trying to get some tips from us in the least subtle way possible, which I can understand, but to make it even less subtle, at one of the breaks I managed to capture something else on camera.
Tell your body in your mind. I'm strong.
Yeah. Sure.
You said you will give me some tip also, right? But
Yeah. I'll give you a tip, don't worry.
I mean, don't tell other people.
No.
I mean, if you're a gift, don't.
I'll give you a healthy tip, brother.
And the drinks are 58.
Yes.
if you wanna get bitter, you get like when you will buy, yeah, drink, yeah.
Yeah, at the top. I'll buy a drink at the top.
I don't know why I find this so funny. Tom's sitting there struggling and this guy's trying to give him some kind of pep talk. And 2 seconds later he just blatantly asks for tips. I'm watching this back as I'm recording, but on a more serious point, he then realises that I was recording this, stands up, comes over and takes my phone out my hand. He then proceeds to go through my phone for the next 30 seconds, standing right in front of me. And I'm like, mate, what are you doing? Give me my phone back, kind of thing, like trying to hint at it. And he then offers to take a photo of me and Tom. We just had some taken about 10 minutes ago further down. There was no need for another, but he goes ahead anyway, walks around into position, and then stands there for another 30 seconds just going through my camera roll. I assume he was trying to delete the evidence and safeguard himself, which obviously didn't work. And understandably, I couldn't get any of this on record because he had my phone. But he then goes and takes these 3 photos. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. I love this photo so much because Tom clearly wasn't with it today. That's physically and I guess mentally. He's staring straight at my flashlight. Now, I'm normally okay with reading situations, and in this moment I genuinely thought that if we didn't say yes and eventually buy something from him, it could have gone south. We didn't know what his motives were and he had control of this situation. So the smartest move was to just play into it and hope for the best. And eventually at 4:45 in the morning we made it to the next little hut which was serving breakfast.
Alright, we've made it.
Just about.
Just about. Skinnier teeth. We're now at this little hut in our hoodies. At the top, nice and cozy. Got some tea and
Okay,
coffee.
enjoy the view, yeah.
Thank you, yeah. There's our original guide who joined us with the rest of the group at the top here. It's nice to be back with people that we originally met at the start of the trip rather than some dodgy drink seller halfway up. Tom's feeling a bit better now.
Yeah, I'm sound now, boys, don't worry.
And we're now waiting for the sunrise. Breakfast is served.
Okay, enjoy the breakfast, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Right, so we've got some banana sandwiches. I believe are they mangosteen? Yeah, mangosteen. 2 eggs, a bar, some banana sandwiches.
Looks wonderful, that.
Dig in.
This was where we could just chill out and wait for the sun to rise. Also, finally bought something from the drink seller. 50,000 IDR for a Sprite is overpriced in Bali terms, but definitely worth the money if he wasn't going to bother us anymore. After an hour or so, at 5:45 AM, it started to get lighter, so we left the breakfast hut to reach the very top of Mount Batur, and I was very surprised by the amount of people up here. We'd seen a few on the way up, but not this many. To be honest, the cloud cover was one of my concerns before starting this trek, because you come here for the amazing sunrise, and it wasn't looking hopeful until eventually we got one small break of sun in the distance. Not the full sunrise experience, but beautiful nonetheless. The views up here were stunning. You could see a lot of the island, and it was rewarding after a stressful, sweaty hike. For the next half an hour, we just wandered around the ridge of the volcano and enjoyed the moment. You can also see here volcanic steam rising in a couple of gaps, which was safe enough to go and stand in, and also proves that Mount Batur is still active. At this point I would have loved an easy way down because I was shattered, but that was not an option. So collectively we decided to go around the edge of the volcano to descend a different route on the other side. Well, this is the thinnest part of the path so far. God, I don't fancy my chances on either side here. Woo, proper mountain trekking. Our guide is off. Oh, look at this. God, we're picking up the pace now. Oh, the hair. Down there is lava from a 1965 eruption, which is all dried up. Technically, this volcano is still active. I think we've just picked the lucky day. The rest of the hike down was very enjoyable because you could see everything around you. We even bumped into some furry friends. Just come across some monkeys. Yo. There's loads of them. Oh, Jesus. Go for it. Oh.
Here's an inside look into the crater. Yep. Understand why I said be careful now.
Monkeys aren't my favourite animal in Southeast Asia considering my lack of rabies jabs, so I definitely kept my distance. The descent back down the volcano took us roughly the same time as getting up, around 2 hours, and at around 8:30 AM we made it back to the start point, said goodbye to our guide and hello again to our taxi driver who took us on another half an hour trip to the Mount Batur hot springs. This was the cherry on top. Very relaxing in 30-degree water after this morning of adventure, and the views were incredible. The four of us stayed here until 10:30 AM until getting back in the taxi and ticking off one final destination, which was the coffee plantation. We only stopped here for 30 minutes to have a look around and also the opportunity to taste the variety of teas and coffees which Bali has to offer, including the famous luwak coffee, which is shat out by an animal. I had already tried it before this point, but I really enjoyed it, so I happily had it a second time. Very similar to black coffee, you just have to forget where it came from. And this rounded up the trip. Running on fumes of caffeine, our driver took us back to Ubud and dropped us at our hotels. This entire experience was booked through TripAdvisor. I picked a random one which was 4.5 star rated and it cost £33 each, which included the entire hike with breakfast, the Mount Batur hot springs afterwards, the visit to the coffee plantation with all of the free testers, and all of the taxi transfers, but you have to be within a suitable pickup location in order for that to be included, which is why we moved to Ubud the night before. However, the situation with the drink seller and the changeover with the guide was not mentioned anywhere on the TripAdvisor website, in the descriptions or in the reviews. So just be aware if you're looking to do it yourself. The way of doing things in Southeast Asia is different to the UK, and linking back to what I said at the start, everything is built on trust. Great foreshadowing. I would love to assume that he had no bad intentions and he was just trying to get a bit of extra money, but you can never be 100% sure. Overall, I had a really good experience. Despite the hiccups, I'd still recommend the Mount Batur hike to anybody and I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. It is great value for money. All of this for £33 is a bargain. I'd also like to say that Indonesian people are very friendly and accommodating and clearly work hard to provide this experience for tourists. So give your guide a tip when you do it because it goes a long way. Well done Tom for soldiering on. That photo still makes me laugh to this day. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe to see more travelling adventures. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.